because the girl he secretly liked had feelings for his best friend, and even asked him to set them up. The man pushed his longtime friend off a snowy mountain, but he never expected that the victim would actually survive the fall. Instead, before the police found him, he managed to stay alive in the freezing mountains, and personally exposed what his friend did. It all started after he fell off the cliff. He met a spirit who called herself a snow woman. At first Masayuki thought she was going to end his life, but surprisingly, she did not attack him at all. Instead, she built him an igloo. Originally she planned to just send him down the mountain, but a badly injured man heading down before dark would definitely cause a huge scene. Her reason for saving him was just that a rescue team would be too noisy, and they might even develop the mountain to prevent future accidents. So saving him was actually the easiest option for her. In exchange, she just took a little cash from him, because she was recently obsessed with human alcohol and food. Although she could easily steal them, that might cause the stores to go out of business. Causing trouble in the human world would backfire eventually. Then the snow woman vanished right into thin air. The snow woman took him down the mountain as promised. She warned him to keep her existence a strict secret. If he dared to tell anyone, she would eliminate him no matter what. So if I ever want to pass away, I just have to tell someone about you, right? Do not talk about such a dark future. Meanwhile, his friend was lying to the police when Masayuki suddenly walked right in and revealed the whole truth. Just like that, his friend was sent to prison. Masayuki later learned why his friend wanted him gone. He read Lufcadio Hearn's story about the snow woman. 11 years flashed by. Masayuki had moved to a quiet town far from the city, but on his first day at the market he ran into someone familiar and completely spilled the beans about meeting the snow woman. Since she had only saved him all these years, she recognized him instantly. Did I not tell you I would finish you if you told anyone? I was just reminiscing with the person involved. The man broke his promise and angered the snow woman, but Masayuki knew exactly who she was when he said it, so technically it did not count as a leak. He had always wanted to properly thank her, so he invited her to drop by his house anytime, and it was hard for her to get human currency. Hearing that he could cook, she quickly agreed. On the way she learned how miserable his life had been. He married the person he trusted most, but she cheated on him, and even tried to take his life. They only got divorced last year. His business partner also betrayed him recently. Combining that with his friend's betrayal 11 years ago, he was feeling pretty fed up with the world, which was why he moved out here. She felt taking advantage of him would be too cruel. Thankfully his savings were more than enough for 30 years. After that she visited him 2 or 3 times a week, until they agreed to check out a supermarket in the city. They started living together like an old married couple, and she spent more and more time at his place. But humans and spirits mixing too much leads to trouble. Worried about what might happen, she went to consult the princess, who is the goddess of wisdom for spirits and monsters, but she was actually just a human girl. The princess said it was fine, as long as nobody saw them. His neighbors mostly kept their distance. Besides a former employee who occasionally called, she would probably stay with him until he got back on his feet. She felt she was getting too good of a deal. You have been separated from your ex-wife for a while now. If you do not mind, I could be with you. Do spirits have any sense of decency? Masayuki felt he was not good enough for her right now, and thought the princess would not allow it anyway. She said it is completely fine. Then one day a string of bad luck hit him again. His recently divorced ex-wife passed away, making Masayuki the prime suspect. The victim was repeatedly struck with a blunt object, and showed obvious defensive wounds on her hands. Nothing was stolen, pointing to a grudge. He had not contacted her since their split over a year ago. The issue was that they divorced because she cheated. The friend who pushed him off the mountain died in a traffic accident, but his ex-wife believed Masayuki did it, so she tried to take him out first. She slipped sleeping pills into his daily energy drink, hoping he would pass away in a car crash, but he survived because he stopped by the office first. After investigating, she confessed to the attempt, admitting she wanted his money to run off with her lover. Masayuki decided not to press charges. He even gave her a portion of his assets. He had never told anyone about this, so how did the police find out? His ex-wife had hidden a letter in her house, stating that if she died unnaturally, Masayuki was the culprit. She feared he would seek revenge, making her suspect he was just covering his tracks for a future plan. Most importantly, Masayuki's name was written on her palm. The messy writing suggested she wrote it behind her back. Security footage from a supermarket 8 days prior showed him with a woman who looked like his ex-wife. Then who was the woman with him? He could not exactly tell them she was a snow woman. When he got back, she asked if his ex-wife looked like her. Masayuki confessed that he never forgot her after she saved him, which influenced his choice of a wife. Feeling guilty was why he did not punish her for cheating, but her trying to take him out was way out of line. Now he had no alibi, and could not explain who the woman was, making him look increasingly guilty. His only option was to find the real culprit before getting arrested, and had no intention of relying on the snow woman. There is still food and booze left, and I will leave some cash for you. I told you to wait. I will help you, so do not try to do everything yourself. I know you are innocent, and I will not just watch you get arrested. In this situation we need to ask the princess for help. When the time came for their meeting with the princess, the snow woman carried him deep into the mountains. She had wanted to bring her boyfriend along, but he turned her down for work. Since the snow woman was his only witness, Masayuki looked guiltier. The princess proposed a theory. Spirits and humans experience time differently due to their lifespans. Asked about the day of the incident, the snow woman would only remember it happened around that time. If Masayuki intentionally confused her about the days, he could easily have done the deed on the 12th, implying that he was manipulating the snow woman, making her feel responsible for his downfall, would turn her into an absolutely loyal partner out of guilt. He had every reason to use her for revenge. This made the snow woman feel a belated sense of dread, but selfishly manipulating them for your own desires. Your actions could destroy the rules between humans and spirits. She simply could not imagine him having such an evil plot. Just as the princess said, she truly believed he was innocent, and would definitely cross a line to save him, but given Masayuki's character, he was incapable of truly hating anyone. After the snow woman kept pleading, the princess finally broke character and laughed. She actually knew who the real culprit was. was all along, and her theory was full of holes anyway. If you wanted to win her trust, you would have started making a baby with her ages ago, because becoming intimate is the most secure way to win her over. She heard the snow woman had tried to seduce him many times, but he rejected her every single time. If he was too scared to even do that, he definitely would not pull off a complex setup. She only said all that to show Masayuki that the snow woman was willing to defy a god for him. Honestly, even without her intervention, Masayuki was unlikely to be arrested. Him feeling watched by the police was pure paranoia. None of the victim's belongings were missing, and her apartment showed no signs of forced entry, meaning the culprit took her to the crime scene. They must have talked for a while first. If Masayuki was the one who did it, she definitely would have mentioned the hidden letter to stop him. It would be much better used as a shield to stay alive. The police realized this too, so they were focusing on other suspects with motives. Moreover, the name written on her hand was actually planted by the real culprit to frame him. Since the friend who betrayed him died years later, people naturally assumed he was someone who took revenge. His former business partner was also terrified of retaliation, so after taking his ex-wife's life, the culprit wrote part of his name on her hand to make the police suspect Masayuki. They needed him to have no alibi during the incident. Only one person around him could pull that off, and that was his trusted former employee. Right on cue, Izuka called. She had actually probed Masayuki on the night of the incident, confirming he had no alibi for the time of the crime. The police already suspected he was being framed. The truth would come out soon enough. The reason the princess knew so much was simply that she sent ghosts to eavesdrop at the police station. She had also visited the crime scene beforehand, and got the culprit's description from ghost witnesses, who also saw the forged dying message, and silently wished them both well. I wish you happiness. Did you hear that the princess gave us her blessing? Just make sure to be careful. A half-spirit child would have a very hard time in the modern world. They ended up having 10 children. She had always been secretly in love with Masayuki, so she was furious when his ex-wife cheated on him. But when he became a shut-in who hated the world, she decided to eliminate his ex-wife to break the status quo, pretending to bump into her on a business trip. She used Masayuki as an icebreaker, so she invited Izuka to the riverbank for information, only to be taken out by her instead. Was purely because her love had become twisted. She wanted to prove that even if he was a suspect, she would still trust him unconditionally, hoping he would eventually turn to her for help, which might eventually blossom into romance. She created this extreme situation on purpose. That is truly twisted. But if he actually got arrested, would her whole plan not be ruined? That was her biggest miscalculation. The real protagonist is the Princess Katoko Iwanaga, along with her boyfriend Kuro Sakuragawa, who had been hiding and listening the entire time. Because he had monster blood in him, the snow woman would find him absolutely terrifying. Katoko had to manipulate the snow woman into protecting Masayuki. Spirits inherently struggle to defy him. If Kuro had been there, she probably would have been too scared to speak. Compared to him, you are incredibly cute.